Okay.
And the gang's all here. Hi there, everybody.
Yay.
Welcome to
Hello.
It's Sybil.
Hi.
I am Sybil Wilkes, and we welcome
She's
back.
back. She's back.
Welcome back,
Hi,
Kwyn
everybody.
Townsend Riley. Um,
Like, sealed that.
I don't think anybody is more excited than Stephen Hill. So,
Absolutely. 100%. Not even a question.
Wow. It's that Scorpio
Own that.
energy.
There it is. I own that. I own that.
yes, he does. Kwyn, welcome back. How did things go?
Things went really well. I really am feeling the energy of James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Hmm.
I absolutely love the campus. I love the faculty, and they actually pay for your to further education. So they pay for the doctorate, which is what I want to get.
Oh,
And so
cool.
that's something that definitely sold me. Kingsville, Texas is very rural. They only have a Walmart and the HEB, which I guess is their grocery store.
Usually, when it's
So
followed by a Ville,
it's
Like
I'm just
Whoville.
saying,
it's flat.
I think Jacksonville may have started out that way. I'm not sure, but usually when it's followed
You
by
know,
that, yeah,
Did Myra really say Whoville? I just want to make
Yes,
sure I
I
understood
did say
it.
Whoville. Yes, I did. I did say Whoville.
but I didn't know that Selena was actually from Corpus Christi, Texas, which is
hmm
where I flew into in order to get to Kingsville. So that was cool. I was this close to Selena, once upon a time. So yeah.
Now, did you find that out because they had her in the airport? Because
yeah.
every time, like some small
Mhm.
place has somebody big, like, oh, this is where Selena's from. It's all over the airport.
No, I did not see
Home of
Selena
Selena, none
anywhere.
of that.
No.
Actually, yeah, one of the employees told me, and I was like, "Bro, what?" Like, and their airport is very cute. It's small, but
It's
like it's very
cute.
cute.
Oh,
Mhm.
I like those kind of airports. I don't know about anybody
Yeah.
else, but when I lived in small towns, like my first radio job was Fort Myers, Florida. It was a cute airport because it was easy to get in and out of, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then
No
when we
traffic.
yeah, I mean, parking was never a problem getting through, and
Mhm.
and this was before the whole TSA, thing that goes on. But Myra, even when we were traveling and doing joiner shows, it was easier. They were cute little airports
yeah.
that we would go through.
I'm not into the cute airport. I need some major services in my airport. I'm gonna need a choice of restaurants. I'm gonna need plenty of
Yes.
restrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
the
Yeah.
yes,
restrooms. Yes.
yes, yes,
And it
yes.
was interesting, in terms of like the mask policies too, coming from Texas to Virginia. Like it was like no mask, no COVID at all. And then Virginia, it's like, oh, well, you have the option if you want to protect yourself or not. So I thought
Oh
that was interesting.
wow. Oh
Hmm.
wow. Okay.
Because
Okay.
COVID's over. Yeah, when are you guys gonna get this over your head? COVID is done. Like there's
Yeah.
no more COVID.
Apparently, I guess so.
Woman.
Apparently not really. And we'll talk about that as we go through. Myra, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I just returned from Los Angeles, which I love and miss so much. I was there for the 50th anniversary of the Comedy Store,
Oh,
which was
nice.
just
Oh,
a great event. I saw so many comics from back in the day, Marsha Warfield, and I was so excited to see Leslie Jones.
Oh, nice.
Oh
Oh,
my
Nice.
God.
yeah.
We just turned to each other and said a word that I won't say because it's a really upclass show. But,
Was it
but
was it was it what you all usually call each other?
yes, it was like girlfriend. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we
Yes,
said.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, sure it was. Okay.
so wait, if you it was private.
Can we
Because
talk about this? Can we move because I want to talk
I
to
didn't
you
want to know about your
first.
stinky day anyhow. I didn't want to know anyhow.
I'm Team Myra.
I am too, and I'm losing my membership on Team Steve. Apparently, Stephen Hill. How are
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Stephen Hill?
Spectacular, spectacular. Thank you very much. And I would like to, as you see, welcome Sweden and Finland because they're about to enter NATO because
Okay.
they scared of Russia too. So
Actually,
I was
actually,
I
I
was having
don't
more
think they're
friends.
scared, but that's
Really?
that's for another discussion.
Okay. All right.
I would disagree with you on that. They're not scared.
Okay.
I think they're showing some guts and some strength.
Mm.
But they're letting Russia know we got you. We got you.
Always good to show guts and strengths when you're behind the big people. So that's
Yeah,
good. I'm
yeah,
with it. I'm
yeah,
with
for
it.
sure, for sure.
Hold me back. Hold me back. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
So let us take a second and let Stephen Hill breathe for a second. And as we welcome Quinn back, let us start with a look at our What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. Please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe. We would absolutely appreciate that. And it is absolutely free. So a fine gift to give to your friends and family members and colleagues as well. And it's an opportunity for us to super serve the African American community with a lot of the stories that we curate here and bring to you on a daily basis, Monday through Friday anyway. And so let us start with what is top of the news for everybody, and that is the subway shooting and that took place in New York City on Tuesday. This is absolutely just had everyone, at least as far as my life was concerned, we were all just stunned and kind of glued to the television, watching all of this kind of play out as a gunman got on a subway train in New York City, the northbound train, the N train, in Brooklyn as they were entering that area, Sunset Park area, I believe they call it. And he pulled out his gas mask. He tossed some smoke bombs or something of a smoke nature was detonated, creating a scene in the subway, and then pulled out a gun, was described as a 9mm Glock, and began shooting. 10 people were injured that way, and about 20 other people were injured as a result of the smoke inhalation and things like that. He escaped this for a short period of time, and they gave us a description. Even though the camera was not working in that subway station, people did give a description of the man, and yes, he is.
No. Oh, come on. No, is he really?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And they started out very early saying black man. And when I was doing news updates, I didn't say black man. I said he's 5'5" to 5'6". He's a little heavy, husky guy, and and what he was wearing and everything. But yeah.
I heard one of the newscasters say heavy set. When you say heavy set, you don't have to say African American, because I think black people refer to each other. He's a little heavy set. So heavy set, but even yesterday I had a little theory. Obviously, this is a very disturbed individual, but I kind of get the feeling that this is a guy just wanted to make a name for himself, want to be famous in a bad way. First of all, you go out, you rent a truck in your own name using your own driver's license. Then you drop your credit card at the scene.
Yeah.
Then the police can't find you within 24 hours. So you call the police and tell them where you are.
He called the tip line. That's what has come out. So about 30 hours after, he was apprehended. And one of the calls to the tip line, they were offering like $50,000. And so I don't know if he was trying to get that money, but maybe he was tired of being on the run, because that seems to be his lifestyle too. Moving from place to place, city to city. One of the cities they mentioned that he lived at one point in time was Chicago, Philadelphia, in the state of Wisconsin, and Indiana, I think they mentioned as well. So he has moved around a lot, but as you say, Myra, he left a trail because a lot of his stuff was put on YouTube, and his displeasure with the mayor as well as other people, the mayor of New York as well as others. And so Mr. Frank James has been arrested. He is in custody, 62-year-old black man. And yes, he is. And Myra, I do say that there's not only maybe he wanted some attention, but I do say that there's some illness going on there too.
Yeah. That's
so is anybody critically injured?
Is anybody
critically?
Yes. There's a lot of people that was wounded.
There were no deaths.
12-year-old.
No deaths.
No deaths, but there were
I'm
severely injured people who were shot.
There was a 12-year-old that was shot too.
On his way to school.
So this is the biggest miracle of all time. You know me, Mr. Positive. I got to figure it out. Like if you've been in a New York subway, you know how unlikely it is for 10 shots to be licked off and no one perish.
Well, so here's the other part, Steve. They believe that the gun jammed, and that's what saved people's lives.
There you go. I mean, but at least 10 shots. Well, it feels like I mean, if 10 people were shot, it feels like 10 shots, but maybe one hit more than one. But like in a subway to do that and have is just the best thing in the world.
He threw the smoke bomb first, so he was kind of shooting through smoke. And yes, it's still a miracle no one was fatally injured. But
yes,
you know, even still.
They say that any potential motive remains unclear. Witnesses said that he was seen mumbling to himself while wearing the reflective vest before putting on the gas mask, removing the canister from his bag that filled the car with smoke, and then he began shooting. 10 people were struck by the bullets. Others were either grazed or hurt in the chaos that followed. And James was initially described as a person of interest, but that was changed as the evening wore on. And he now faces up to life in prison if convicted on a number of charges.
And now we play our favorite game of where'd the gun come from? And how did someone like that get the gun?
So 16 years ago.
He bought it like in 2011. He bought it in Indiana or someplace like 10 years ago. It's registered to him. All of that.
Oh, that makes it worse. That makes him.
It's really quite quizzical, this whole thing, but it is very disturbing. And I was talking to Damon and to Cameron the other day, and I really am very fearful about, like Cameron takes the train, he takes the L, he takes the bus, Kwyn, and I'm very concerned about people, and I'm afraid of copycats.
Yeah, especially when I heard it was public transportation as well. When you said that he lived in Chicago, like there was a moment in my chest. I was like, "Oh my God!" Like my brother takes the red line all the time. Like I have friends that are literally on the train as often. But it when you guys talk about like mental illness, I think there is overall illness like in our society. I don't want to label somebody like I think that's just like a normalized thing where we call somebody crazy for doing something that's crazy. But violence is so normalized at this point that I think we really should have a conversation about gun restrictions and gun laws within our country. But also like the funding of the police, at least in terms of the New York City subways, there has been a lot of money that's been given to them. And so I'm concerned about how much more feet are going to be placed on the ground because of this incident and how many Black people, specifically Black men, are now going to be tailored or like hyper visible because of this action of this one character. So that's something like I'm thinking about too.
Well, that is a consideration, and certainly now as we're talking about the Biden administration and funding the police, and that is a conversation that we are having. You're absolutely right. Stephen Hill, were you ever fearful on the subway in New York?
No. Look. Yeah, all I can say is no. I mean, there are people on there. When you see, you know your surroundings when you get on, right? You just take account of your surroundings when you get on. But it would just, I mean, candidly, it would just drive me crazy if I got on the subway every day wondering if this is going to be the day when the one in every 5-year occurrence happens. So that's just kind of a mindset around that.
Kwyn, do you think this is a 1 in 5-year occurrence?
I do. I mean, I don't say like I'm an optimist, but I think when you talk about his disgruntledness in terms of like the mayor, it sounds like this is something that he intentionally planned out, and he seems a bit calculated. And so I feel as if this is something that may not occur, hopefully, like for a long run. And even when I think about the Chicago transportation system, I don't recall at least seeing an accident like this in Chicago. The last time I remember seeing like any type of accident was when somebody jumped in front of the train on the red line. And I remember how the trains were stopped and I wasn't able to go to work a couple of years ago. And so I'm praying for his family and his loved ones.
And that's the other thing. I don't know about what kind of research they did in terms of his family, but he seemed to be a loner of sorts. And so this whole story will come out. It will unfold. But they did a great deal of work, and a lot of it was luck, in terms of people being able to tell them what he looked like, other video cameras showing him, and like Myra said, leaving his credit card, losing his credit card at the subway stop, using all of this information for the U-Haul truck that he rented and things like that. Yeah. And then a cry for attention, I think, you guys, because he called the tip line and said, I think you may be looking for me. I'm going to be at McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm not sure.
Attention.
I'm not sure he left his card. I'm not sure he lost his card at the station. I have a feeling he left that bad boy.
Well, whatever it was.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
he just wanted. I mean, look,
I don't know if it's a crack.
It's hard to get
That's a
inside anybody's
word.
mind, but it feels like this person thinks differently than the rest of us, right?
Right, for
Obviously,
sure.
you know, for going in, but the sad thing is there are people who do this because they want the attention. Like I gotta admit, I believe if you're gonna call the tip line on yourself, you're looking for me, and you know you've done it. There's something you're looking for. There's some kind of call it attention, call it help me from myself and from others. But there's something there's something in his that. There's something that called him to be
Well, maybe a
caught.
conviction. Maybe he felt guilty.
No, I think
so
the
it
attention
had been
wasn't
for the-
happening fast
When
enough
we had
for
a
him.
shooting on campus by a student, the student turned himself in as well. He
Yes.
left the scene. He drove all the way to Chicago, and then he turned himself in. And that shooting was as a result of a failure of like some type of restorative justice in terms of a conflict that he had with his roommate. I believe that shooting actually could have been very much so avoidable. But he turned himself in, and I would never argue that he did it, you know, for attention. And I feel as if, like, at least with this situation, it doesn't scream attention, doesn't scream ego. If anything, it screams like help, and I'm tired, and I want to face accountability.
I'd be on your side if he hadn't left the credit card. Like that's the thing for
What
me.
if that was
like,
an accident?
Then you should
you just happen to lose your credit card on the day you go shoot up a train. I know we're getting dicey water here, but
he might have just left some food crumbles, some breadcrumbs or whatever along the way, saying, you know, here I am. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch this all play out and how it's going to look across the country as well.
Yes.
Kwyn, let's talk about your story and the transgender bill in Alabama.
Yes, so Alabama is now the third state in the country to pass a restriction on gender-affirming care for minors. However, it is the first state to include criminal penalties. Senate Bill 184 makes it a felony for medical professionals to provide gender-affirming medical care for people under the age of 19. The Alabama Governor Kay Ivey said, and this is a quote, "If the good Lord made you a boy, you are a boy. And if he made you a girl, you are a girl. We should especially protect our children from these radical, life-altering drugs and surgeries when they are at such a vulnerable stage in life," she has said. And she also passed House Bill 322, and this bill will ban transgender students from using sex-segregated school facilities that align with their gender identities, and will prohibit classroom discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in grades K through 5. So this bill adopts similar language that was used in the Don't Say Gay bill that passed in Florida with the governor Ron DeSantis. And so both of these will take effect in July unless they both face some type of litigation. But there already are like lots of lawsuits. I think 2 lawsuits from families in Alabama that are actually suing her, and of course, like for this bill. So I will say that the quote that she said, like, if the good Lord made you this and if he made you that, first of all, God never actually took up a gender identity. God never said I use he, him pronouns. God never said I use she, her pronouns. In fact, God just said I am what I am. I am the word. I am this. I am that. And so let's just talk about gender fluidity right there. Secondly, people can do whatever they want with their bodies. Like I don't understand like why this is being so politicized and so
well, let's go back
just
to
everybody else's
abortion.
decision. Yeah.
For the
I'm
last
always
50 years been fighting that, you know.
I'm pro-choice, okay. But
Well, no, we're not doubting that. I'm just saying that,
okay, good. Yeah,
you know, having this discussion about what to do with our bodies, and especially the more feminine they are, the more they have a tendency to want to control them.
Yes, but all this is just straight transphobia. This is straight homophobia. And a lot of people think of transphobia as like a fear, when really it's just like a disassociation. I don't know if you ever had a friend that's just like, they get angry if you even assume that they are involved with someone of the same sex, or assume that they are friends with somebody that's gender fluidity. That is homophobia. That is transphobia. And this is literal violence against our trans youth. And as we know, like statistically, like trans youth are at a risk of dying, you know, from suicide. And when we talk about mental illness, like these are the bills that our kids are like witnessing and listening and hearing people talk about. That's like, wow, because God made me this way, like I can't feel as if I'm another way. And like, what if I want to be both? Like, and the gender binary thing, I just gotta give another lecture. That's what it seemed like. 'Cause
Yeah, I think so. But here, I am a. I don't.
And Stephen Hill,
I don't find myself transphobic. I find myself trans ignorant sometimes, and I'm trying to learn. And so when this bill, its specificity around under the age of 19.
Yes.
And you use the word care. Is it people who are actually people can't?
You know what? We're gonna have to discuss this, and
okay,
we've
all
run
right,
out of
moving
time.
on.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we are a slave to the clock, unfortunately. I'm very
and thank
sorry.
you for admitting that I think that's a courageous, vulnerable thing for you to do. So,
and we can come back to your vulnerability and your ignorance later.
That's when I'll jump in.
So let's take a look at our lighter question of the day, our what's really going on. And this is lighter, much lighter compared to the topics we've been discussing thus far. National Scrabble Day. Each year on National Scrabble Day recognizes the game played around the world. It was originally called Lexico and then Crisscross Words. A man who was a part of the discovery of this game, finally, his name is Alfred Mosher Butts, eventually settled on the name Scrabble. The amateur artist and unemployed architect developed the word game in the midst of the Depression, but it wasn't until 1948 that the final name change and trademark that Mr. Butts finally decided to produce the game. So my question for us who are game players, and so folks who are listening as well as watching, what's your favorite old school board game that you'd like to bring back? And I will tell you that I'm still a Scrabble fan. I play it electronically in the various app games, but I still, I love Scrabble. I was just talking to Yolanda the other day because I used to know how to play backgammon. I don't remember how to play backgammon. So my mom and I used to play it a lot, but I just, for years I've been away from it. So that's something that I would like to bring back, if you want to call that. And I love to play Monopoly with kids, just because they learn the sense of business and things like that. Do you have a love of games? Kwyn, you're nodding your head. And I think that you have shared with us about how you guys would play games growing up.
Yes, and even during the pandemic, this is the only thing that I'm better at in terms of my siblings and my mom is Scrabble. Like I beat everybody at that game. Like I'm not even trying to gas myself up, but I will. I'm a Scrabble champion over here. So the fact that it was called Lexicon, I was like, oh, cute, because like languages and like linguistics. But an old school game that I instantly thought of was Guess Who. I don't know if you guys remember that game where you would like guess the faces and you would like flip it around and it would be like, oh, you have to describe. They would have different cartoon drawings of faces and you would have to describe somebody's face to the person that's opposite. And if they won, then they would flip it and it would show like somebody that's blonde with like a big nose or something like that. And so I enjoyed playing that game with my siblings.
I have never heard of that game.
Yeah, this is like 90s.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
but I did like Monopoly. I always lost though. So
I never finished one game of Monopoly ever in my life. We would just quit. We got hungry. Something would happen. We wanted to drink or do anything else except finish that game of Monopoly.
I just couldn't take rent from people, man. I was like, go free. I get it.
Oh, you are such a socialist. You were a socialist even as a child.
Wow, that's consistent. That is consistent.
I was like, whoever had Boardwalk and Park Place, okay, you win.
Right, at that point.
Yeah.
Don't let them get the houses out on them.
Okay. That's how we played it.
Over with.
Yeah, for sure. Myra, what game would you like to bring back?
Just like you, I love backgammon. I don't remember, but I would love a refresher course. That and it wasn't a board game, but I guess Pictionary.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love. And
were you good at that? Were you good at?
I was the freaking worst. Let me tell you how bad it was. I was having a birthday party and we're playing, blah, 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 and I'm drawing my little clue, and my niece said, "It's a penis." And I went, it was a bearskin rug.
What?
Yeah, it hurt my feelings because I thought I would have really drawn a bear really well. Like,
bear that looks
I don't know what kind of units she's seen, but that's what she thought it was.
layers.
I don't know.
It's disturbing on so many of those layers.
Yeah, I think that last
On every one.
statement just choked. I just
Not barren, choked. Okay. Stephen Hill.
Mine wasn't really a board game either. It's more like pin the tail on the transphobic state. All right, never mind.
You know what?
I'm gonna go with Monopoly. I enjoyed Monopoly. It was something that our family played. I didn't particularly care for the game, but I loved the feeling of the family playing around and then joking each other and then stealing houses and purple and green.
Stealing houses.
right,
maybe.
stealing.
Now
That may
you're
have
getting,
been- that may have been,
getting
yeah.
her goat. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
steal
Stephen
houses.
Hill and Quinn
That's
I
right.
love. Okay.
Why would you steal the houses?
Hmm?
Why would
To
you
make
steal
more rent, Quinn.
Oh, wow.
You missed
sad,
this, didn't you? You can admit it. You missed this, didn't you, Quinn?
No, man. Monopoly was training up young capitalists, man. I don't get it. And with the jail, like, why would you even do that?
So the funny, okay, but the great thing about Monopoly jail, like what family did you live in? If you landed on the jail, were you there, or did you have to get the go to jail card to go there? Because some people
Oh, I
play
had to
like
get the card.
right. Some people
Oh,
played
we
the card.
landed.
Some people landed. If you land on it, you're in jail. Even though they had that strip around it, just said just visiting, like just visiting. It
Right.
says just visiting.
Right. No, that didn't. No, if you landed on it,
In
you were in
jail,
there.
Yeah, you
know.
were
know.
in jail.
I
Yeah.
know.
I would love to
for-
play Uno with y'all one day.
That would be fun. You guys, for those who are watching and listening, we'd like to hear your suggestions too. What's your favorite old school board game you'd like to bring back? Does Uno count? Oh, the Game of Life,
Sure.
Aubrey Williams.
It's a card game.
Sure.
If card games count, then
Yeah,
it's gonna be all
yeah.
spades.
Aubrey
but,
Williams, the Game of Life. I used to love Life. Yeah, exactly.
I only played the
exactly.
computer version.
Oh dear God. Delara Washington on Facebook says Candyland board game. Candyland. Oh, that's the wrong thing.
No, that's not Candyland. No.
Candyland. No, doesn't work. It did on the south side of Chicago. Chinese checkers. I never knew how to play that. Rosemary Smith, thank you.
Yeah,
I
Chinese
never
checkers
knew
was
how to
fun,
play
yeah.
Chinese checkers. So what was the object of it, Myra? Do you remember?
Get all the checkers. I think
With
in
all the
Chinese-
marbles?
Yeah,
Oh, that was a good one.
you jump the same color, but in regular checkers, it was like you had opposite. ones.
So
It-
it was
it's
like
been a long
like
time.
our checkers,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah,
with
yeah.
marbles, huh?
No, it was checkers, but
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
but it was
remember
played
Chinese
differently.
checkers with marbles.
well,
I do
maybe
too.
my
I do as
family
well.
couldn't maybe
do
my family
too?
couldn't afford marbles, and we just made them with checkers. But I do remember that's how we played.
And when you played jacks, did you play with jacks or did you play with shards of glass?
We played with popcorn, so
We are not going to pour shame.
no, we
at all.
played. We had jacks and bat and ball, and I don't think this is an old school game, but we recently played spoons, and that was so much fun.
Okay,
Got a
what was
little
spoons?
violent.
What was spoons?
card
Spoon.
game.
Tell them, Quinn. Well,
So
yeah.
it's so everybody has 4 cards in your hand, and basically there's one person who draws a card and they pass it to their left or their right. And the basics that you have to get all 4 of the same card, so like all 6s or whatever. And if you're the first person to get all 4 of that suit, you grab a spoon, but you're not gonna announce it like I'm grabbing a spoon. I got matches, but everybody's supposed to catch on to that cue that like one of the spoons has been grabbed. And so let's say you're playing with a room of 5 people. Then there's only 4 spoons,
Right.
so that one person is eliminated. And it gets physical because you can steal a spoon from somebody.
Wow.
And like you
Wow.
can literally be like, yeah, I'm grabbing that spoon. Like people are tossing tables and like
And the
Yeah, no, but
socialist
that's
in you
right.
didn't find that demeaning and out of order?
But the anarchist in her loved it.
Let me tell you something. We had aunties versus nieces, and my niece did a full swan body dive and slid across the table, grabbing the spoon. The other auntie snatched it from me and went, I got it, and then fell back all the way back on the floor. Oh, it was hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was physical
serious.
assault.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the topic, says Kyra?
Board games game.
National Scrabble Day. Want to know your favorite board game that you would like to bring back, Kyra, on Facebook there. So what is the game you would like to bring back? And specifically board games, but if you have, because so I was thinking Uno or like those card games, but definitely if you have any favorite games you'd like to bring back, then
Is
by all
Twister a
means.
board game? Because Twister was my favorite game during puberty.
Oh man.
During puberty, Twister.
You know
was
what? Actually, I think we can make a case for that being considered a board game.
Uh-oh, Kwyn's upset now.
When you're bored.
What's wrong with Twister?
B-O-R-D.
Y'all
What's wrong with
always
Twister,
just say
Kwyn?
something nasty. Why did you have to bring up
That
puberty? You
wasn't
didn't say
nasty.
anything. He said it was his favorite game during puberty.
Maybe he was
nasty
playing
about
with
that?
himself.
What was that? What was is it puberty that offends you?
No, nothing competitive. He's just being nasty. Y'all didn't pick up
being
on
nasty?
I think he's being real because I gotta tell you, when I was in puberty, Twister was pretty fun for me too.
Myra, you get what I'm saying about the
Kwyn, you can't deny the fact
I'm
that
gonna
when
be
you were
on
in
team
puberty,
Kwyn.
now it's maybe different for guys, but guys, they'll brush up against you. They'll try to do anything they possibly can, just not nasty feel, but just to touch someone of the gender they are attracted to.
Yeah.
It just happens. It's what
Which
puberty's
can be
about,
very
Kwyn.
exciting when you're
That's what
like
puberty is
11.
about.
When
when you're 11.
It's very
Really?
exciting.
Really?
That is considered as a home run. Like, I think I may have touched something.
Yes. Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I was like, no, it was his thumb. But then again, maybe it was something else.
Now that was nasty. Now Kwyn, now that was nasty. I give you that one. I'm gonna give you that one. That was
You
nasty.
open the door.
No, that was nasty. No, don't blame me. Don't blame me.
The
And,
door
I'll take
was
it.
open.
and just to
Kwyn,
steal
trust me,
from
when
the
you go through
late-
puberty, you will understand.
just to steal from the late Gilbert Gottfried, I
Yes.
just heard this joke where he said, you would have seen it, but my thumb was in the way. I just heard a clip of his today and was dying laughing.
Myra, and we will talk about Gilbert
Okay.
Gottfried, but golly, he had some funny jokes and some funny lines. He was just a very, very funny man. He was dirty as all get out. Old
Oh, yeah.
maids.
Oh,
Florence
yeah.
Barrett. And what are you saying about us, Florence? They're on YouTube. Pickup sticks.
Yes,
Janet
somebody
Ferguson.
else mentioned pickup sticks. Yeah, pickup sticks.
Yeah. So Kwyn is looking quizzically. You don't know pickup sticks?
Not to be confused with 52 pickup, which was the
Okay,
whole-
that's what I thought it was.
Oh,
Okay,
the
y'all
52
just-
pickup? No.
Yeah,
That's totally
okay.
different.
Kind of the same.
Pickup sticks, if I'm not mistaken, is the wonderful game where you drop sticks on the ground,
Right.
and then pick them up so none of the other sticks move.
Right.
That's how complicated that game is.
And it was my
Literally.
grandparents kept this in the credenza of their house, and so whenever the kids would come, it was like, oh, my grandmother would go, oh, time to pull out the game. We were like, okay, and it was pickup sticks. It was just something to keep us busy while they were doing grown up stuff and conversations and what have you. And we're like, this is it.
And then what's Old Maids?
It's a card game.
game. It was
It's
a card game. Yeah.
And the object is to not get the card that says Old Maid.
Yeah.
And I think there were like 4 or some, Myra, or was it just 1? I don't remember. Because my game was
one.
War. If we were playing card games as a kid,
Yeah.
ID click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were taught bid whist as children, and you
Tonk.
better be good. Tonk.
Yeah,
bid
that's
whist.
my aunt and uncle taught me.
Yeah, well, here in the South,
Before spades.
they play
was tonk.
spades, but I'm bid whist. I'm
You
team whist.
really are old school.
Oh, heck
Yeah. Did they play bid whist at Brown Stephen Hill? Did they play it?
Yeah.
Did they play it at prep school?
No.
What about spades, old man?
Hell yes. Now let's be clear. On Saturday night, let's be clear. On Saturday night, in certain corners of the educational institutions, you might find
Okay.
a few.
Okay.
And wait, and I don't know if
Did
y'all ever
somebody say
experienced.
pity pat?
You have experience. So, and I'll get off it. I promise. But like, we have spades, but in both my high school and my college, there was one white person who could play spades like they were just like as black as everyone else. It was only one person.
Yeah.
Most of them were really bad, but then there's one who was like, "Yeah, I got this. Oh no, I'm good. I'm good."
Okay. Boston, here we
Hooray,
come.
slap
Right.
it
That's right. What you got? What you got?
All right. Thanks for indulging me in that rundown memory lane about the games. It's now time for us to check our topical. We have talked a number of issues, but topical things that are still happening as we speak. Tomorrow, I would like to invite everyone to join us for a check-in and check-up for your health show. This is on Black maternal health, and it's featuring Dr. Rachel Bond, and our friend Kim Whitley is going to be with us on Thursday. So please join us during our regular time period for that. And also want to talk about Ukraine, Stephen Hill. You have the Welcome Sweden, Finland sign there, and of course that it has to do with Ukraine. An interesting history about Finland and Russia. Have you seen that? How Russia tried to take over Finland, like back in the 1930s, and it was during World War II, and Russia tried to invade Finland, and Finland wasn't having it. And I mean, they really pushed back. I mean, compared the size and everything was, beyond comparison, but it was just an amazing story. And Finland learned during that period of time, as they pushed Russia back, they knew what to do if this was going to happen again. And so what they have done is they have always put it in their constitution and all their rules that we have to have 6 months of food. We have to have 6 months and sometimes a full year of all of these supplies and things, so that if these guys come back again and something that Ukraine might have thought about or taken heed from, they're ready for them. And to go to your point, Stephen Hill, now they're ready to join NATO.
They are indeed. They in Sweden are
Never
ready to
thought that
join
would
up with our
happen.
forces. No one ever thought that was going to happen. No one thought it was going to happen. We welcome them. We welcome anybody who's against this constant move and atrocities that are being served against humans. Forget civilians, humans.
Or as our president calls him, a dictator. United States has now given Ukraine another $800 million more in military aid, and this time they're bringing the heavy weapons. The president has announced this military assistance, expanding the scope of the systems used to include heavy artillery ahead of a wider Russian assault expected in eastern Ukraine. This now brings the total military aid to $2.5 billion from the United States to Ukraine. Kwyn,
I thought we were broke.
We always find money for war.
For war, yeah, and when it comes to Russia. So what are your thoughts on that, Kwyn?
On how we find money for
war? On the $2.5 billion, how we always find money for war, for violence, for military aid.
For imperialist efforts. Yeah. I am a person that just wants to sit back and watch this thing unfold. I think it was interesting that, this campaign is like, yes, for humanity. Yes, for humanity. And it's like there literally have been lots of humans that have died at the border, literally trying to become humans of this country. There literally have been humans that have died because of racialized violence, transphobia. Nobody has commented truly on a lot of the femicide of Black women or the Nigerian girls that went missing, a couple of years ago. And so I think it's interesting how convenient and how easy it is to say like, oh yeah, we're going to fight this war. We're going to fund this war, fund these efforts, which I'm grateful because I am definitely still praying for Ukraine. Yeah, our priorities are always very interesting to me. It's like I don't know. it's just not giving that we care about education. It's not giving that we really care about the marginalized groups here. And I'm always just confused about like where does our priorities lies in terms of like American citizens as well. So I don't know. Mm.
Myra, because you have been a part of movements and things in your life, Myra, how do you put those two things together in terms and as a mother who of children in the military?
Um, so, sort of piggybacking on what Quinn said, one of my first thoughts when they said that they were going to aid Ukraine, yes, prayers up, they need help. But I always thought, for African Americans and for the poor in this country, we could use those hundreds of millions of dollars, but there never seems to be money for that. I always go back to the war on drugs has been going on for 50 years, but there never really seemed to be, quote unquote, any real effort to do anything until there was a meth problem, and we know who was on meth, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, the soccer moms and little Billy, they're on meth. We really have to crack down and do something about these drugs, when people of color have been screaming about this, just like I said, for almost 50 years. Our educational system, we have cut so many educational programs because we don't have the money, but the minute that somebody yells war, then they dig into this bottomless pit, and it is very, very frustrating. As much as I really want somebody to go in and kick, not even Russia's, but kick Putin's butt, and let's get this over with.
Yes.
It's very frustrating because we can use a lot of that money here at home.
Stephen Hill, you're giving us the side eye.
No, I'm not. No, not at all. Not at all. I have said this in this program before. This is heading towards more danger than less. I agree with both Kwyn and Myra in terms of being able to finance military efforts, military efforts. We always want to fight the big bully as opposed to the bully that is us. Like it's always been the case. It always will be the case. This is dangerous, right? This Finland Sweden thing, I hope it works out. But like please understand, the moment that Russia does something against NATO, we are required to respond. Yeah. And when we respond, Russia will respond. Now, them some dominoes. Forget Vietnam. Thinking about that's the domino theory. That's not the domino theory. There's a really simple domino theory in front of us right now. And every day this war goes on, we get closer to that. Yeah. So I feel I feel for those who are victims of persecution, both small and large. So there's it's not an either or. It's a sadly continuing spectrum that's perpetuated by by certain groups around the world who share a ratio of melanin. So it's a bit of a challenge.
Share a ratio of melanin. I like that.
I'm gonna stay with that.
Okay. I do want to talk about this police shooting in which a Black man was killed in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and what other people saying just another day in the life of Black people. They're preparing for a violent reaction to video that has been released in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Several videos of an officer's encounter with a young man by the name of Patrick Lyoya, who died after being shot during a traffic stop this month. The Grand Rapids Police Department said he was killed after an officer's gun discharged during a lengthy struggle. A representative for Mr. Lyola's family has said that he saw the video of the shooting and believes the 26-year-old man was killed execution style. During the news conference, the city manager offered his condolences to the family and said that this was painful for him to watch. And they released the police body camera, dash cam, cell phone, and home surveillance system footage of the incident. They say that neither the videos nor the audio were edited. Some video images were redacted or blurred to ensure privacy. And Ben Crump is in on this. The attorney, civil rights attorney, has been retained by the Lyoya family and pushed for the officer to be fired and discharged. As of right now, he is on paid leave and desk or administrative leave. And it shows, according to Ben Crump, shows this was an unnecessary, excessive, and fatal use of force against an unarmed Black man who was confused by the encounter and terrified for his life. This happened on April 4th. Police said they were pulled over a vehicle for a traffic stop. And then you can see the video as to what happened. There was a lengthy struggle, and it was over 1.5 to 2 minutes, and it was said to be very frightening. The story is not going to go anywhere. It's only going to build now, as it's now getting legs and more attention, more eyes on it, and we'll keep you up to date on this. But this is, Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, Texas. We're moving our way around the country, every state, in which Black people, and especially Black men, are killed by police and in these traffic stops.
Well, yes, but just this was on my mind today. We are such a violent society now. Yes, we get mistreated by the police, but let's just lay the cards on the table. We have such a mindset of violence, bang, bang, shoot 'em up, kill. And the governor here just signed, I hope I have it labeled correctly, a no permit concealed carry law, which means you don't have to get a permit here in the state of Georgia, as of yesterday, I believe, to conceal and carry a weapon, because the governor said the permit take too long. That's what he said.
He might be gone by then.
Well, he is up for re-election, so we'll see what. Myra, what do you think?
I don't get the logic, other than he is up for re-election and he's playing to his base. That now they just think more guns is always going to solve the problem.
Right.
And I just think that more guns is going to lead to more
problems.
Yeah.
We have just a few minutes left in this segment, and I do want to, Stephen Hill, it was my bad. I was remiss last week. We did not talk about the Grammys. Any thoughts or observations you wanted to share about that? Because it really was an exciting Grammys, and I apologize for not giving us enough time to talk about it.
I've forgotten all about those.
Okay.
No, I thought it was a wonderful show. I really did think it was a wonderful show. As a producer, what they did with that MGM Grand Arena, because I know what it really looks like, was special. I thought Trevor Noah was a very even keeled host, and they succeeded in allowing acts to build their own looks and do the thing they wanted to do, as opposed to an executive producer who was there 2 years ago. That was the last time they could be in a big arena with people. And they were allowed to do the things that they wanted to do, and it really showed. It showed in the quality of the performances and in how much fun it seemed people were having for the first time in 2 years. So that was awesome.
And how great for people like John Baptiste and it was just he has an amazing story, but to see this come from where he's come and just put together an incredible piece of work.
Yep,
as he did.
Yeah, he's just one of the guys that everybody wants to win. I think, candidly, when he won Album of the Year, people were like, "How is that going to win Album of the Year?" Right. It shows that the Grammys still haven't gone as far as they really. They promised to take it more to where popular music was. And John Baptiste, while it's a great album and everybody loves John, just shows what happens when you put one album in there with a bunch of other pop albums who are going to split up the vote, right? All the other albums that were there kind of split up the vote. So, the smaller but still voting older voter members who vote for John Baptiste are going to have, it won because they had more votes while other people split the votes. But I'm glad, because I love to see a brother win. It had been a long time since that had happened.
And Bruno Mars, just so funny. Oh my God.
Silk Sonic.
I
believe we call that in the industry a sweep.
Myra, I did want you to talk about the 25th or the 50th anniversary of the Comedy Store.
Yes. Just that you guys know, I started off as a comedian, and they had an invitation only, just honoring the 50th year of the Comedy Store, which, if you are a comedian, that's like the grand poobah place to perform. It was the first place where, ironically, where I ever got on stage was at the Comedy Store. And so they had you do the whole COVID test and blah, 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 blah before you came. And a lot of comics came out. A lot of comics weren't there. I don't know if they just didn't want to come or if they just weren't invited or what the deal was. But like I said, for me personally, Marsha Warfield and I, because we went to the same high school, and I'm so proud of her. Leslie Jones, which you all know, Leslie Jones as who's she? Queen Esther Perkins. I take on It's Your World back in the day. Yes, the lovely Leslie, Finest Henderson, Suzanne Suter. A lot of people who has La Boca.
Give some white names. Give them some white names too. Was there big white names there?
Yeah, probably.
I love it. All right. Speaking
Joey Gaynor was there.
Oh,
Joey, bring the kids. Yes.
Hilarious.
So now let's move to more entertainment news. This is for you, Stephen Hill. The Bennifer engagement 2.0. Are you excited?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. As much as I care about that stuff, I'm really excited. I love when love wins. And so I had the fortune of seeing this couple together when they were Bennifer 1.0. Jennifer Lopez was on 106 in Park, and I go over say hello, and then Ben Affleck is there. Now, I'm a Ben Affleck fan. I fully admit it. And he turned out to be just as nice a guy. And so I love it when couples show affection for each other when the cameras aren't on. I like seeing whatever that natural thing is. And the same way I was sad when they broke up, I was very happy when they got back together, and now they're engaged. So that's a long way of saying, yep, I care. I'm glad.
I'm very happy
for
love.
You. I love love.
I know you do. Anita Perkins, did you hear about Cuba Gooding pleading guilty? I do have that story, but we were going in we were already in a different direction. He has pleaded in one case in which he has been charged with assaulting a woman. But he's got more cases.
Yeah.
There are more to come.
Guilty.
There are definitely more to come.
Unwanted touching.
Yes, and I believe in this case it was a waitress. I was a member of the wait staff.
It was at a club or something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he has copped a plea in the sexual misconduct case. He will avoid jail time as long as he stays clean. He is facing 6 misdemeanor charges for 3 separate alleged incidents. This pleading guilty today was 1 count of forcible touching, as Myra said. And this is in regards to a 2019 case where a woman claimed he kissed her without consent at a New York club. So, and he's got more to go. There will be other cases. So. Did want to talk about that. Talking, if I can just get back to the Bennifer thing, where he proposed in the most intimate moment. Well, one of the most intimate moments. She was in the bath. She was in a tub. She was having a long soak, and he came in and dropped down to one knee apparently, and then brought out this green diamond.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. And so you're gonna have to move those bubbles.
Okay.
I want to give you this, but you got to move those bubbles first.
A green diamond. What do you think?
As long as it doesn't turn her finger green, we're fine.
That is her favorite color. She said that's her lucky color.
What, green?
Just don't let it turn her finger green. Then you got to make sure a whole different thing.
Kwyn, what do you think about that in the tub?
I don't know. I think that's very cute. I think on what Steven talked about as far as natural chemistry, like I do wonder in terms of a lot of celebrity couples, like if they actually do like each other. Like there's one thing to be attracted to each other, but compatibility is something very rare and something that is very organic. Like you can't fake it. And so the fact that he, proposed to her like in the tub, is just like, oh, that is so like intimate and vulnerable. And that's just so homey. It's like clearly like they love each other. So I hope it lasts. They deserve everybody deserves love.
Everybody deserves it. And maybe the 4th time's the charm for her.
That's
maybe.
that's my thing. I'm all for love. I'm team love, but I just want to see Jennifer just take a break just for herself, because I'm like, her kids' heads must be spinning around in the circle. Like, are you my new daddy? No, you my new daddy. Okay, you know, because
Yeah, I think it's a whole different thing when you got kids involved like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
love is very deep and very personal, and very and to say I really really love this person. Well, 6 months later, no, now I really really love this person. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
things
Because
happen.
I loved A-Rod and
Right.
yeah.
Until I
Or you can
didn't.
love multiple people.
Well, you can, but can you be in love with multiple?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Do you think there's difference between being in love with multiple people at once but loving love enough to like, okay, this one's over. I enjoy the feeling I get when I'm with somebody. So that is a priority in my life to go find the next one. Some people want to take a break, and I get that. Some people are just like, no, I'm confident in myself that I like myself better when I'm with somebody. And I'm perfectly fine like that. And then move on. Paul McCartney's that guy. Paul McCartney, by every thing, is like, I am in love and I'm with you. There's no cheating. There's none of that. And then, unfortunately, his first wife passed. But it wasn't that long until he was on to the next wife.
The second one, yeah.
Who took him to the cleaners.
Yeah. Well.
And then when that one ended, he was on to the.
And then he married one more suitable for him, I guess.
You know, it's just you know. If you like that feeling, you like that feeling.
You like that feeling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close out with Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration. I hope you find some peace today. So inhale peace. Exhale frustration. Speaking of love.
You get them both. You get them both with that.
It comes together sometimes. And that is inspired by our friend Elena Botley. You guys, this was great. Welcome back, Kwyn. Very glad and excited about your journey, your next chapter. Stephen Hill, yours as well. And Myra, we appreciate all of you guys, and for all you folks listening today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great week.